Hey, good morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on this fine planet that we all call home together. So, we're on January 9th of 365 Days to Embracing Forbidden Emotions, a daily guide to peace and fulfillment. And it's a collaboration with my daughter and myself. So, who's here? Oh, hi, Liam. Oh. I must be on my regular page. Well, I'm going to do it here. He has to be. Hi, hon. So, I'm going to read this and then I'm going to go back to my other group and do it. That's hilarious. Okay. So, this is the book for anybody that doesn't know. It came out, just about a week or two ago. So, you guys get this. I've been doing these readings on my Tapping Really Works group. So, if anybody wants to join that group, you can. But we're getting to hit the road. We're in Dunlop, Tennessee, the land of Sound of Music, even though I know that was in Austria. But I'm going to read January 9th. So, laughy faces, freaking hilarious. It's always funny when your partner's on here. Okay. Well, since this is on my regular page, anyone that doesn't know, I wrote a book, Forbidden Emotions, The Key to Healing. It's got much more technical information in it. And then that book, I had that idea for at least 10 years. And I wrote it in 10 weeks, but then it took me like 3 years to get it edited. And it's a lot of reasons. And editing's like my nemesis. I like freaking have got a tap on that. So anyway, so this book is a collaboration, I'm in a RV, with my daughter, Bailey, and I. So this book was a lot more fun to write. And I would tell you that it reflects a lot more of where I'm at now. Always a work in progress. But here's January 9th. The pain of today is the victory of tomorrow. And that's strugglesela.com. What if I need not marry the concept that struggle is a necessity? What if struggling is something the ego, the inner critic, or the bully in my brain came up with? You have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Louise Hay. When I have a lot of momentum of thought criticizing myself, like years of it, decades of it, it can feel like a daunting task to approve of myself. I may have tried this with affirmations or positive self-talk, yet the bully in my brain is so entrenched in my mind that my mind just doesn't believe the positive. And this is something tapping really helps to deal with. Here's where I make this easy for myself. I need not try to think positive, thank God, or even try to say nicer, kinder things to myself. I can, however, use interrupting my thoughts once again. And what if what happens over time is I naturally feel more positive towards myself? I naturally think better thoughts about myself. How could this be? What if I was born intact with pure positive energy, self-esteem, and goodwill towards myself? What if this all just got covered over like clouds move over the sun? So now my pure positive energy isn't as available to my human self. What if this interrupting business is the simplest, easiest way to shift from self-criticism to self-approval? I simply interrupt this critical self-talk when I notice it, and over time, I notice the criticism softens and creates a space for pure positive being, the pure positive being I truly am to come shining through. I need not believe this yet, but I like that this could be possible. And that's the beauty of interrupting your thoughts. You don't have to believe them. You're not going to. The brain the brain won't allow it. When you have a lot of momentum going towards a subject, thinking negatively, patterns of thoughts that you've had for her. You can't just think happy thoughts and it's all going to be okay. Oh, I'm just suddenly going to think positive. You don't have access to that physiologically. So the idea of interrupting your thoughts is you catch yourself. And I don't suggest you sit around all day like, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? But when you notice that you have negative thoughts, when you notice the thoughts are like circling the drain and you're headed down the rabbit hole and you're like, oh my God, that's a cesspool of negative thinking, which is what I notice, that's when you can start to interrupt it, because what you're doing is you're bringing the unconscious programming into consciousness, which is where you can attend to it. And people, if you're like a law of attraction person, and I'm so happy to wake up from that nightmare, it's like, oh God, if I keep thinking these thoughts, I'm just going to program it more. I spent a year, and I'm not exaggerating, not sleeping through the night because I was tormenting myself and punishing myself because I've got to think positive and I can't. And when I found tapping and I realized you can't think positive, Marti, you've got way too much momentum going in a negative direction. You don't have access to it. But what I can do is own the negativity, own those negative thoughts, tap through them, and then they get released. And that's the big difference. It's like, thank God I woke up from that nightmare, because that's its own prison sentence, is to feel like, oh my God, I've got to think positive, and you can't. And to know I don't have access to it. I don't have to think positive. I just need to interrupt my thoughts when I catch them, not every day sit around and think about it. That'd be a pain in the ass. But it's like, there it is. I'm thinking negatively. And over time, and a lot quicker than you think, if you're vigilant about this for a period of time, say 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, and just be like, oh, there's a negative thought and I can interrupt it. Eckhart Tolle calls it watching the thinker. So then you become the observer of your thoughts, and any good mindfulness meditation practice is always about just noticing the thoughts. They come and they go. Do I want to believe that thought? Am I going to buy into that thought? And I'm going to quote all these other people. And Byron Katie always said this, and I get this now. I couldn't get it for a while. Our thoughts are why we suffer. We suffer because we believe the thoughts that we're thinking. And we believe the thoughts about ourselves, like, I'm a loser. I don't have what it takes. I'm not thin enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not, smart enough. I'm not this enough. And when you catch those and you start to interrupt them, and tapping is a fantastic way to do that. And there's also a new thing coming out, JAMP, which I'll talk more about. It's something you'll hear a lot more about, that I'll share more about with you, that's created by someone I know quite well. So, but we'll talk more about that next time. So, thought for the day. Today I play the role of pattern interrupter. When I notice the bully in my brain is active, I interrupt it, ask it to leave, or just take a freaking break. I tell mine to F off, because mine can be so demonic sometimes. It's like, ugh. And then I'm just like, oh, F off, whatever. I won't say that on here, but I'll say it in my Tapping Really Works group. It makes a huge difference. And I notice that voice gets quelled and quieted, because I've been paying attention to this enough now that I can catch it when I catch it. It doesn't mean I always catch it. It doesn't mean that I don't freaking go down the rabbit hole like ad nauseum. I do. But to catch it and interrupt it is huge. So, did this on my personal page. Diane, I love seeing you here. Joanne always, and my husband is here, and anyone else. So I'll do this again in my Tapping Really Works group. Bye for now.